Hi, so we're back with another one of these. I really enjoyed making the first one, and I'm hoping that I can make some more to at least complete an Autobots cast. I am a little bit sick at the moment, so you'll have to pardon me if my voice sounds a little out of whack. But for this next one, I wanted to tackle Bumblebee. Bumblebee was the first one I started working on, which is why you'll see it's actually two different time lapses that are interspliced together on the speed paint. I ended up getting a new pen between those, so I ended up just using the original as a base and then just working off of there to do the full design. You can see me try to do a little bit of shading this first one, but I end up going over that under the second sketch. You can kind of see this was me trying to really work out the proportions. I want B to have very round, very chibi, frumpy proportions, but still very sporty and athletic and with the kind of Mega Man quality. I took a lot of inspiration from classics and the Devastation design by proxy. Originally, I wanted this design to be the classic VW Beetle, but I'd seen the Prime San Diego Bumblebee and the Galaxy Defenders Bee, and that inspired me to turn him into a taxi. And I wanted B in particular to be a car, to be a car that you would see everywhere. So I decided to base him off of a car that I've seen everywhere and turn that car into a little taxi. I really like the idea of B being a taxi. I think it's a very in character alt mode for him. I like the idea of him endearing himself to Earth and humans by driving them around and just hearing their stories as he helps get them from place to place. But yeah, with this design, I really wanted to maintain the quality of B being a little guy. I definitely didn't want him to be a big sports car or this big fighter. I wanted to also keep some of the actual B motifs, which is why I decided to keep the Moveverse antenna, the stripes, the little wings. I end up adjusting the proportions a little bit as we go. You can also see the influences, of course, of Bayverse and the High Moon design. I really like the High Moon design. I think it captures what I envision Bumblebee as very well. I use the Classics toy as a base because I really enjoy how it looks like a little kid with a backpack. Like, not a Transformers backpack, but like an actual bag. And I've always liked that. I like how he has the big stompy feet. That toy is probably one of my first B toys, and that's what I think of when I think of Bumblebee. So I really wanted to capture that here. So you can see we go over the line art again, and we're further adjusting the proportions, adding some extra details. I really liked how animated B and the Nightverse B give him stompy boots, or they modeled the bottom of his feet to be the bottoms of boots, and I really liked that. Also the stingers, it's two stingers. It's basically how the animated stinger works, but with a bit of the Bayverse cannon arm. It took me a little bit to figure out how to mesh those two designs because it's going from circles to triangles. I also gave him his little knife that he has in the Bumblebee movie. It was difficult for me to balance the natural roundish shapes of Bumblebee with the very geometric angular shapes that I like to draw my Transformers designs with. I try to create rounded shapes and angles with angular lines, and that's kind of how I end up trying to mesh those two. Moving to the colors, pretty simple, black and yellow for the first colorway. With Bumblebee, you've seen that hundreds of times. I liked that I was able to mesh the taxi motif with the black stripes. Also, I did give him a little tooth gap. I just thought it would be cute. And I did the shading, which is kind of where it actually starts to come to life a little bit. The first colorway, much like Hot Rod's, was the stealth mode. Easy, basically just a color swap. Then I wanted to do Dark of the Moon Laserbeak, just because it was a very off-the-wall type of recolor for B, and it's pink. Very simple. After that, I decided to try and draw a battle mask for him. I really like the Revenge of the Fallen style battle mask, where it's actually the top of his head panels that fold down, and I tried to mix that in with his Bumblebee movie design because I like those two. I like the Bumblebee movie, how it has that kind of insectoid look to it. After Laserbeak, I did Bug Bite or Shatterglass Bee. And then there was Wasp. Wasp was surprisingly complicated. You'd expect him to just be like a basic recolor, but he's actually got some pretty unique qualities to him. Difficult trying to translate his color breakup. From Wasp, I ended up doing a Stinger homage. I envisioned Wasp and Stinger to have their own separate designs, but I thought as unique colorways for this design, I think it would be funny. I didn't do a Cliff Jumper. That was mostly because I'd already done Stinger, and Cliff Jumper is definitely going to be his own design, even if it would be quite similar. Then I did a gold one. That was mostly just because I was going to do a couple of gold ones anyway. You could call it G2, you could call it Golden Lagoon, not really much to say. And then from that, I turned him into Goldbug, pretty simple. And then I turned that into the G2 GoBot Bee, which is a really weird one, but it's technically the same guy, just repainted. Next up was the animated Elite Guard Bee, who is one of my first, I think that might be my first Bumblebee toy. I have a lot of nostalgia for that design. I really want to find a new one. Kind of a mishmash of gold and yellow as the secondary colors. I use the two different designs of Elite Guard Bee as a base because one of them has a yellow head and then one of them has the black head. So I gave the battle mask those yellow accents to sort of bridge those two. Then we did Glyph. Glyph is another character who I would probably give my own design that's uniquely theirs, but it's blue and it's cute. So, but yeah, that was kind of a quicker one just because it's a bee and it's kind of a mishmash of every bee. So it's not as notable as Hot Rod. I had less to talk about. I'm still trying to iron out the format, I guess, but yeah, I'm very happy with this one. Hope I can cook up more, and I hope I'm not sick for the next one. Still don't know how to end these. I haven't thrown the Twix bar at the wall for a while. Maybe just cut to that.